Today, August 5th, 2017, and we're in the center of Kiev in Volodynirska Hill, and together with me this is a researcher from San Francisco, Brian Fisher, who's working in Academy of Sciences, American Academy of Sciences, is it right?
The
California Academy of Sciences. Brian is very kind to come to our Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine to study unique animals, insects, ants. And Brian, you are studying these animals probably the whole of your life. Yes. And how did you become explorer, scientist, and teacher? And how did you start to work with these animals? And how are your plans? And why did you come to Ukraine?
Well, that's a lot of questions, but I'm glad to be here, thank you. I've had a great time so far. We've done no work because thanks to Polish Airlines, our luggage is somewhere, hopefully coming today, maybe tomorrow, and we'll start working. But we're here. In fact, we planned this trip for 5 years because here they have an enormous world-class collection of ants. Over 600 types. That means unique species were described here by the historical work done here in the collection. And we're here to visit those types and take pictures of them. In fact, it's like taking pictures of cats. We want pictures of ants. Every single ant we want photographed. And we have to travel here so we can capture 600 special ants that are found only here. I love ants, but I wasn't always interested in ants. You know, ants are everywhere. You know, if you put them in a big pile, they'd weigh about as much as all humans on Earth. But for most people, they're invisible. You know, but they're important. Shakespeare once wrote that they're the major kind of player in the theater. He wrote, "Oh, though she be little, she be fierce," and that's true. But unfortunately, people don't appreciate how beautiful they are. In fact, if you get them under a microscope, they're stunningly beautiful. It's not like all ants look alike. But in fact, each ant under the microscope is very, very different, with spines and hairs and just incredible beauty. So take the time next time you see an ant to get close to it and watch it. But also, it's not just an ant that's interesting, it's because they're social. It's that extra dimension about social insects that make them so fascinating. They're very similar to our societies, how they work, how they communicate, and that's what's really interesting about ants. It's their complex society. How do they make it work? Is it a queen that's telling all the workers what to do? No, it's something much more complex that we're just beginning to learn about. In fact, it's the basis for all this research on artificial intelligence. It started with understanding neural networks and complex societies and how they form. And ants have been doing it for over 100 million years. They've been major problem solvers. In fact, by watching them, we can learn how to actually program and solve problems in our lives. How to send bytes along the internet, how to efficiently send cars to replenish stores. It's all about these algorithms that ants have figured out ages ago. But I wasn't always interested in ants. In fact, I grew up in the middle of the United States where there's just corn and no trees and prairie. And I wanted a little adventure, so I thought I'd become a botanist and go down to the tropics and study plants. On my first trip though, I went to Panama and saw plants everywhere, and I collected them, but you could put a name on every single plant I collected. But the ants, nobody cared about. In fact, nobody studied them. I couldn't even find a guide, a book, or anybody to tell me how to learn about ants. And that's when I decided to stop studying plants and only study ants. And since then, I've traveled the world looking for the rarest ants. My work now takes me mostly to Madagascar and Africa, but I love traveling to new places. This is actually my first time to Ukraine, first time to Kiev. And yes, there are ants here, and there are fascinating ants, and they may be in your home. So instead of looking at how to kill them, take some cookie crumbs and leave them on the countertop and just watch them. It's like having nature come to you. Look at it as an incredible privilege to have these wonderful insects come to visit you.
And Brian, my interesting question, special for you. What was the most surprising discovery during your studies?
Well, I think the most surprising discoveries is that Yes, there are many, many new species out there, but in fact, the most interesting ones sometimes are very rare. So you have to look through thousands of very common ants, and right there in the middle of it is something different. And that different thing could be so different you're not even prepared to understand. Like the discovery of the Dracula ants. These ants that don't have a normal relationship with their young. In fact, they go up to their larvae and they scratch them until they bleed and they drink the blood of their own babies to survive. There are other weird behaviors, so unimaginable that we can't even know what they can be. So we have to be prepared. And that's what a scientist is, really, is always being ready for a surprise. And that's hard if you're doing it every day, when you're in the rainforest and it's raining and you're hungry and there are mosquitoes, but you have to be ready for that surprise. You always have to be looking, because that right there in front of you, it could be the next great discovery. You just have to look.
And please, Brian, can you tell, like a teacher for your students and maybe for Ukrainian students who loves biology, why to be drawn to study biology?
Biology actually is the future science. It's going to be what allows us to survive on the earth and survive in a way in which we like to live, right? I mean, it's clear we've got this great experiment going on called climate change, and we don't know how it's going to impact us. We don't know how we're going to actually survive it. But as a scientist, you're the first one to actually know it's changing, and you're going to be the group of people, the scientists, as a general group, the mathematicians, the physicists, especially the life scientists, are going to be how we're going to actually be able to survive in the future. So it's really dependent on our human race that we have more people studying the life sciences.
Yeah.
Go biology.
Yeah, great, I love it. Go biology. So thank you, Brian, for coming to Ukraine. And I think so you come back next time. You're expecting to do it.
Yes, I'll come back. But first we have to go down here and collect a few ants.
Yeah, great idea. So let's go to this Zamkova or just mountains hill, and we can come and you can find them. Definitely, absolutely. They are living over there for centuries, for 1,000 years. Here, maybe for millions.
Ants have been here for millions of years.
All right. Okay, thank you for coming. Looking forward to see you here again for your next trip to Kiev and to Ukraine. Thank you.
Victor.
Good luck and see you soon.